What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Rumpier Sports Swing for the Fences show. Hope y'all are having a great Wednesday. Joined by my two guys, Mangone, DC, talking some baseball. We got 8-game slate. No Coors Field on the slate. That's the first thing I always do when I pull up the slate. I go, is there Coors Field? Today was a no, unfortunately. Then I go, let's go check the totals today. Well, they're not very high. I see one at 9 and everything else below that. So then I tell myself, we got to have some good pitching on the slate. Well, I thought it was going to be better than what it was. So I'm excited to hear from the guys, what they're thinking today. Good prize pools, as always. 8 games, so that's a good spot. 2 NBA games, so the NBA playoffs, still 100K up top, still some good prize pools, but not the 3 games as usual. We got 2. DC, I'll head over to you. You don't have to talk any basketball if you don't want. That was a tough one for sure yesterday. We can talk baseball instead. You can talk the gender reveal. You can talk whatever DC wants to talk about. So how's your day going?
Things are good, man, except for that Wolves game that you mentioned last night. Thanks for bringing it back up. I just got over the pain, but you got to go right back to it. I don't know
Sorry about that. I had to.
Games title, but man, what a crazy series it's been between.
I've seen them all. I have money against it on BigT, so I had to. It's been a sweat for sure. What a series that's been.
Yeah, just really swingy. Like every game is just a massive game of runs. Basketball's like that a lot, but especially these games have been that way. But we're on to today. Pretty good 8-game slate. Doesn't sound like you're all that excited about a title, but we'll get to the bottom of it. We'll pick some winners.
I mean, I don't think it's bad. I just think it's interesting. Like, when do you see 8 games, only 1 game at 9, a total of 9, everything below that? And you expect to see the pitchers we've seen recently. We've had some pretty good pitching slates, and it's really not like that today. It's just, I guess it's April DFS, so it's still cold in a lot of the spots. They're still winning stuff, obviously. The ball, we don't know. Vegas doesn't know exactly what's going on with that. So I think a lot of that has to do with the totals. But it's just a weird slate. I like it. I think weird is fine in baseball. We saw yesterday, big slate, but like the Yankees were 5% owned on the shipper, the Orioles and stuff. So you don't have to I didn't play the Dodgers yesterday as a clear chalk team. If there's a clear team as chalk, there's no chance I'm playing that this early in baseball for sure. So I'm excited to talk through it. I don't think it's bad. I just think it's interesting. So Mangone, how's your day going? You're on the Mangone with Friends earlier. Excited to hear your baseball takes, any NBA takes from you. What's going on in Mangone's world?
Yeah, I was on the show with Hoop. We talked some golf. I was a bus driver there. Now I'm a bus rider here with Title driving the bus. So excited to sit on the bus for this one and have Title drive the MLB show for us. Should be fun to talk some pitching with DC, talk some hitting as well. And overall, it's a good day. We got PGA DFS coming up. We got some NBA games tonight, which, hey, I'm hoping the Nuggets can extend it another one. Let's just keep making these go further. Let's get more 3-game slates. 2-game slates are a little lame. We got like our first 2-gamer here, I think, of the entire playoffs. So yeah, I want to see the teams that are down win, because I want to extend the series. So get my man Scott Foster out there, the extender. I want him reffing both games. Fly him out, make sure we can keep these games going longer, because he didn't succeed. He did his best with Tatum. He fouled him out, and then the Nets, they were cowards and couldn't get the job done.
There was did you guys see there was like a interview with a referee? I didn't see the whole thing, just saw most of the headline, but like apparently the referees are like instructed to try to extend 3-0 series another game so that the league can get more revenue, which, like, of course they are, but it's just still funny to hear them admit it, right? It's like a lot of conspiracy theories. There's some truth behind a lot of them, and that one, kind of proven true there.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of things in the world that you want to believe isn't true, or just stuff like that, just right, in sports. And it's like, well, there's probably a lot of stuff we don't know, and I'm not surprised at all. I mean, you can sometimes see the refs and certain things. It's like, man, would you have called that if it was a 2-2 series and stuff like that? If the game was a different score, it sucks. It really does. That's why in baseball, I mean, I kind of want robot umps. I do want robot umps. I hate seeing balls. I mean, we saw the Giants and Dodgers, I think it was twice last year, one in the playoffs and then one in the regular season, just stuff like that. But basketball, I mean, how do you put robot refs into it? I know I kind of brought up a whole different subject, but taking the human portion out of the game, if you can take out a human portion, replace it with something that will be 100% correct. My opinion, that's what I want. But we're talking. we're talking
Why don't we
opinions.
just get robots to play the games too? Just we don't even need to watch any humans.
You're on the boomers umping and not knowing the strike zone
when it comes to this. Yeah, I've been on
DC, tell everyone to play Madden Sims DFS. Tell them to get out of here and stop playing real DFS and tell them.
Mangone, there is no way Mangone's on. There is zero chance Mangone's on the human umps. There is no way.
I'm on an in between. Like why can't why can't we have like a robot
let's hear it.
Well, hear me out. Why can't we have a robot ump up top with a guy who watches it? And like the second there's like a bad call down low, he just says not so fast. Like this is wrong. Like
then what's the point of paying the ump for sitting behind the plate if his wrong call is going to be debunked by a robot?
That's the worst take all, man. You gotta go one way or the other.
I don't want to go one way or the other. I just want to have like the perfect system where you have a guy up top, a guy in the sky, and then you have the guy down low. And he can.
But if the guy calls it wrong and he gets debunked by the guy up top, what? You just want him to get showed up every time he makes the wrong call. And
because it's just called getting it right. That's all it is.
Getting it right. That's what I'm on board for. You know what the so
you're telling me the robot is always going to be right. I'm telling you he might not always be right. So I got the robot up top with the guy who's making sure it's right with the guy down low. I mean, it's a combo. It's the best of both worlds.
Does the ump have to like if he gets a ball or strike wrong, does he have to like hang his head in shame and like do a lap around the field or something?
Take a lap.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, if you want to, sure. But I mean, we don't have to do that. All you got to do is, and if he doesn't get a lot of calls right, you know what happens? He gets canned. He gets down to the AAA. Like it's just.
Oh, we've seen Angel Hernandez up here a long time and he hasn't been, and he's got plenty of calls wrong. So I don't think it works like that either. But
listen, I just want accuracy. Big T's calling me a fence rider out here. I know
you want accuracy. That's why I said that's why I said you're on my side.
But the robot umps won't always be right because they're wrong sometimes too.
Well, then. I mean, when I'm saying I want robot umps, I'm expecting that they can figure out technology in 2022 and figure out how to make it correct. If the robots are wrong, of course, I don't want wrong robots, but that's not part of the argument when we're talking, at least in my opinion.
You say Big T's watching? I'm nervous now. He's tweeting about how to do entertaining shows. And we're the first guinea pigs here. He's watching us, making sure we deliver the product. Boss T. Oh, yeah, nervous for this show now.
I'm raising the entertainment scale up, and you know how you do that? You get in fights with the YouTube chat. How are robots not going to be right, Josh? Well, why don't you go to Draft Cheats Twitter and look at some of the videos that he posted? There were robot umps that got things wrong, and there were strikeouts being called when they were balls. So they are wrong. Josh, come fight me.
Well, we're going to get off of that topic. I shouldn't even have brought it up. It went from rest and all that. But DC, you brought up Twitter. K-Fleek Bernard guy said, DC, did Elon ever respond to you? I'm curious. I think I know the answer, but I also want to hear a little DC rabbit hole on Twitter.
No response from Elon, but I'm hoping in the next 24 hours to get one because we got the NFL draft tomorrow. And I would love to impersonate a certain NFL personalities.
Wink. If you're watching, you know who it is.
Booger's a good one, but part of the reason I do Booger, obviously, obvious reasons. He's just a funny dude to impersonate. But I feel like he's like, laid back enough not to like go all out to try to get me banned from Twitter. But there are other accounts that I would like to impersonate if I knew I was, free from not getting banned, because I wouldn't be too happy to lose the Twitter account and have to start back at zero. It's been a long journey to get these 36,000 bots that follow me. I don't want to have to start all over. So
that would be one of the sadder days in your life, I think, DC.
It would be a rough day. And I do feel like Elon Musk, he's been tweeting so much. I feel like there's at least some chance he could respond to you at any point. He's like an everyman billionaire as the richest man on earth. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah, you got to find what he wants, so things that he wants to respond about. Because I saw some tweet I don't know how way back was, but someone's like, "You should just buy Twitter, Elon." And he was like, "How much does it cost?" And that was years ago. Yeah. And someone tweeted, and it was really funny. Now the guy that had the encounter, it was really funny. But yeah, maybe if DC gets a response from Elon, you will be a special type of person everywhere. That's for sure. That'd be something, but nothing yet. K-Fleek Burner. We got Josh in chat. We got Derek. I didn't see DC. Did you see Derek said Bassett even complaining about the ball after he pitched for a win? Do you see what Bassett had to say? Because I didn't.
Yeah, he's saying basically they don't even, the MLB just doesn't even know what balls they're using. They don't care about the product. He's just kind of complaining about it. And because I think he almost hit somebody because the different balls feel differently. So I don't know. It's confusing. It's almost worth just not worrying about it at this point, because you just don't know. what we're going to get, I think, from night to night. So you certainly see it reflected in the totals, though. A couple of weeks ago, we had like 62% of the games went under in the first 3 weeks, something like that. And so I think you do see that reflected in the super low totals at the moment.
Yeah, that's I definitely think that's part of it. When I saw the totals, I expected the balls were part of it. But I mean, before I got on here, I don't know if it was because of the ball, but I was watching our Discord was talking about that Mets Cardinals game. The Cardinals hit JD Davis. People are saying broken ankle, maybe, or that. Did you see all this, DC? Then the Mets threw at Arenado's head.
I did. I was laughing right as we went on the air because I was reading Twitter, and Siege must have been watching the game, and he posted a bet. A live bet. He bet plus 750 for Arenado to get hit, like as Arenado was walking to the plate. And then they threw at him and they missed him. And he didn't get hit, so his bet lost. And I was just like, that is just like such a Siege moment right there.
I will say that was a good bet by Siege.
It was, but
it was a very good bet.
That didn't come through, and they were clearly trying to hit him
because he ran as bad as possible. Because not only did he not get it the first time, then he was bitching about it, and then he gets ejected. The benches go, and he doesn't even finish to the at bat. So, dang, that is a pretty bad beat. But hey, Siege, I'll give you that. I highly doubt you're watching. You never know, but that was a sharp bet for sure. That's enough of that, though. Very interesting. Mets Cardinals baseball. I gotta love baseball. 3 games for the early slate. I didn't get in personally, but love day baseball. Always action. Good slate today, 8 games, and we got NBA playoffs. We have the premium show as always. If you're not a member, JSU, BigT have been crushing the playoffs. AP's on their lock. K Falik, Holden breaking it down. RPS Heater 25 gets you 25% off. Make sure you check out the premium show, all the premium content. Golf tomorrow, Mangone and Hoop talked about their golf player pool a little bit, broke that down for free. Make sure to check that out. Mangone always goes live 11 a.m. Eastern with somebody from Run Pure Sports, talks all the sports or whatever sport for that day that they're thinking, talk some strategy, answer some questions, MMA, NASCAR, NBA playoffs, all of that. Tons of content, tons of money to be made. Head over to Run Pure Sports, RPS Heater 25, gets you 25% off. And hit the like button for us too. 266 watching, 92 likes. We'll set a number in a little bit, but hit that like, hit that subscribe. We got 8 games. We're going to talk pitching, then we're going to go stacks. Then we're going to go position by position, and then you guys are going to get the likes, and we're going to talk plays of the day as always. But let's start at pitching. DC, pulling up the DraftKings, pulling up the salary. I see up top, I see 9.9K, Pablo Lopez. I see Ohtani at 9K. So I want you to talk about, you know what, I'm not going to go. I see Charlie Morton at 8.2. So I want to hear your thoughts on 8K and above, Charlie Morton all the way up to Pablo Lopez, DC.
Yeah, we can start at the bottom of the range. Charlie Morton, a little bit of a rough start for him. But, people that have been with Run Pure Sports or watched me over the last couple of years, I'm a big Charlie Morton guy. Got after a little bit of a slow start last year, rebounded. I don't really see much wrong with him. He is getting a little older, so you do, like obviously as aging athletes, if they have a decrease in performance, you do need to look into it, right? To see, is this guy starting to fall off? I don't really think so with Charlie Morton. So I expect a rebound. I like the matchup against the Cubs. I think he's a very strong option at 8,200. Plesac at 8,500 and Blackburn at 8,800. Pretty easy cross-offs for me, as is Michael Wacha. I have no idea why he is 9,400 against the Blue Jays. Not going to touch that. And then the other 3 guys, Ohtani, Joe Ryan, Pablo Lopez, I think all are good options. My preference here is Ohtani, who he had the one bad game. I forget who that was against, and he'll have some of those, right? He just is a little bit inconsistent as a pitcher, but the stuff is incredible. A baseball analyst that I really respect, Eno Saris, who's a really good pitching metric guy, has Ohtani's just his raw stuff graded as the best of any pitcher in baseball right now. And that's different from last year. So Ohtani looks like he's made a step forward, at least in terms of, what he can offer up to hitters. So 9K for him. Cleveland, a team that doesn't strike out that much, but still, I do have Ohtani number 1 option today. Overall, I've got Joe Ryan too. Good matchup against Detroit, still cold weather in Minnesota. Ryan, a rookie this year, but a guy that just pounds the strike zone. Really good fastball, not high velocity, but just gets a lot of swings and misses. And with the way the ball is, or I guess the lack of ball flight or distance from batted balls this year, a pitcher like Joe Ryan's always going to have a little bit of a home run issue, probably relative to the league. But right now, and with Byron Buxton patrolling center field and the cool weather and the what seems like the still deadened ball, Ryan pretty safe. He's going to throw a lot of strikes, get strikeouts, home run issue a little bit mitigated at the moment. And then, Pablo Lopez has been fantastic this year. Good matchup against Washington. The one concern I have with Pablo Lopez, he's historically been quite a bit better at home this start on the road. Not that it's a terrible place to pitch or anything like that, but some pitchers just perform better at home in general. He seems to be one of those to some extent. So I've got it. Once you factor in salary, Ohtani 1, Morton 2, Ryan 3, Pablo Lopez 4. And it gets pretty thin pretty quickly after that. So most of my teams will be focusing on those 4 guys.
I like it. I just have a quick question just regards to baseball. Joe Ryan, he pitched what? Didn't he have a couple starts last year toward the end of the year? Yep. Is he still, so you're still considered a rookie if like,
yeah, it's just like for like rookie of the year voting, you have to so many plate appearances or so many innings. I don't know the exact thresholds, but he wasn't up long enough.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I knew the name. I knew he pitched last year. I didn't know how baseball now that works. So hey, always looking to learn new things. To learn something new every day. Mangone, going to talk to you about the same range. We got 8K and up. Charlie Morton, Ohtani. I expect him to be the most popular pitcher, sitting at 9K. What you like, 8K and above?
Yeah, listen, before we go into that, I just want to say, DC, congrats on winning a bet against K Falic. I see in the chat you beat him, so congrats on that. You got those K Falic water filtration bucks, so I wanted to just give you a shout out there.
No, I don't think he got any bucks. I think he got out of something, right, DC?
Yeah, well, I was on the hook to be his butler at his next house party, but now I guess I no longer am. I had forgotten about that. It was kind of a rough slate for DC. I was focused on the Timberwolves game anyway, but happy to be off the hook for that for sure.
All right. Well, happy to see you off the hook for that. Let's talk about the pitching then. My number 1 pitcher is going to be Joe Ryan today. I'm not as excited about Ohtani as DC. Now I'm not the pitching guru like DC is or anything like that. But the issue I have with Ohtani is like when he's at high ownership and then when he if there's a spot where I'm worried he could blow up and just be a disaster, which he's shown at times, these are the spots I don't really want to be on. And one of the concerns is it's the Cleveland Indians. Cleveland Indians are not a team that strike out a ton. I just think there's a lot more ways it can go wrong at that ownership where I'm preferring Joe Ryan. Now, full transparency, I'm playing more FanDuel than DK today. I like the FanDuel slate a little bit, so I'm just loading up on Joe Ryan over there. That's
talk some FanDuel for the pitching too. Joe Ryan, you like, but sorry to interrupt, but definitely talk some FanDuel because people are in there. DC will talk more DraftKings, so I like that.
Yeah. I'm definitely looking at FanDuel more today. So I'm definitely looking at Joe Ryan, who's at 9.2K over there. Like you said, Ohtani, he's 9K over there, and Joe Ryan's even more expensive at 9.6. I expect that the ownership today on DK is going to be like Ryan, Ohtani, Morton, and then like Montgomery will be like the top 4 highest owned pitchers. But again, you can get different with your stacks. You don't have to worry about that too much. I like Joe Ryan the most though. After that, I like Pablo Lopez some, but I think like Charlie Morton is the guy that sticks out to me as a really good option. I think you can go with like a Jordan Montgomery today, but my only issue with Montgomery is I worry about some of his upside with what his actual length is going to be in the game. So far this year, he's gone 3 innings, 5 innings, and 6 innings, which the 6 innings was against the Tigers, 5 innings was against the Baltimore. And I just worry that like Montgomery can't go long enough where that can be a concern for me, where I just don't know if he's going to hit that ceiling that you want because a lot of the totals are down right now. So that is one of the concerns I have with a guy like Montgomery. That's why my lean is going Joe Ryan probably is my 1. I'd say Charlie Morton is my number 2. And then I'm going to go with Pablo Lopez at 3 for me. I do worry about that heart of the order on the Nationals lineup. It's definitely strong, but Pablo Lopez has been good this year and he's definitely shown some upside. So that's kind of my rankings right now with my pitchers, but I'm definitely on FanDuel. I think I'm just pushing on Joe Ryan completely. He's just going to be my main guy on the slate.
I mean, it makes sense. Ohtani's 10.5 on FanDuel and Joe Ryan's 9.2K. You get the 1,300 there. Whereas you go to DK, Joe Ryan 9.6K, Ohtani's 9K. So he's $600 more over there. So I definitely like comparing the prices on both sites. It makes a ton of sense. Going to talk the lower range with you on FanDuel, Mangone, after I get to DC though, because I do really want to hear what your thoughts are on Jordan Montgomery, DC. He's going to get some ownership. I'm not scared of this Orioles lineup. It even got worse. Ryan Mountcastle got scratched. So the lineup even is worse than usual. Very low total. It is in Yankee Stadium, though. They did put up runs yesterday. It's one of the better hitting parks. I think the wind's blowing out, I believe. I'd have to double check that. But I mean, you like the upper range a lot. You said you didn't have too much interest below. Talk to me about Jordan Montgomery and then anything else you like in the lower range.
Yeah, I mean, he is number 5 for me. So I do, have some interest there. I just don't know I think I'll play 10 lineups tonight. So maybe we'll mix him in on one. But I just don't think he has the upside of these other guys, partly because he just doesn't work very deep into games. That's been an issue with him. But basically his full career just kind of seems to wear down that third time through the order, right? He's a guy who doesn't really have a good fastball. So he relies a lot on deception. And that doesn't work. Kind of the more a hitter sees you, your effectiveness goes away if you can't throw your fastball past the opposing bats. And so that's why you see him often removed after 5 or 6 innings. The Yankees know it at this point too. So that's my concern with him. But especially on a 7-game slate, right, where there's not that many pitchers, not that many studs that he needs to beat, 15 to 20 might be enough to get you, into the top 2 or 3 pitchers on the night. So yeah, I think Montgomery's fine. I do definitely like him better than everyone below him. Really below Montgomery, hard for me to make a case for many of these guys.
Talk about Jacob Junis. Someone brought him up in chat. He's expected because someone was talking about Long. It looks like he's going to be the opener again. We expect Junis to come in after. That's what I'm seeing. Again, it's never 100% with stuff like that. Someone brought it up though. Any thoughts on him if you don't like anyone there?
He's interesting. We've only seen him pitch one time. He was really effective against the Nationals, and we know what the Giants can do with pitching, right? Like part of the reason was high on Alex Cobb. He got hurt, but he was really good before that. Guys like Alex Wood go there. We saw it with Kevin Gausman. They basically resurrected his career. And Junis has always been a guy that I've liked a little bit. So I'll look a little bit more into him kind of as we talk. I just like the 4 guys up top quite a bit. So I was kind of just focused on that. But yeah, Junis is interesting. He hasn't pitched in, I think, exactly 5 days, which makes sense if he's going to be the long reliever. And we also know Sam Long, who is opening the game for San Francisco, just pitched 2 days ago. So
is he the opener every game or what's going on?
Yeah, he's going to lead the league and starts. He's going to make if they keep using him like this, he's going to make 70 starts.
Yeah, what's going on?
But I bring it up because you basically know he's only going to get 1 inning, right? Because he just pitched 2 days ago. He only pitched 1 inning in that game. So that makes you pretty comfortable, right? That it will be Junis out of the bullpen. Again, you never know for sure. And that is one of the worst sweats in DFS, is waiting for your long reliever, hoping he jogs out of the bullpen after the first or second inning. But I do think it'll be him. And yeah, I'll look into him because he is a little bit interesting.
Yep, I definitely like that. And yeah, I mean, you like the pitchers up top too. So there's no need. You play 10 lineups. If you have 4, even if you have 150 lineups and you like 4 pitchers a lot, I think you can just rotate 4 pitchers in 150 and you'd be fine with that. You can get different in bats. The thing with Junis though, if you do want to pay up for certain stacks, we have Toronto on the slate. There's the Yankees and stuff. Junis is only $6K, which is a big price difference from the guys up top and stuff. So that's interesting. I do like your points on him. I think he is interesting. I like going I'm not scared of the Oakland ballpark. I like playing pitchers in Oakland. So I think Junis is interesting down there. Whoever brought that up, good points. Mangone, you're talking more FanDuel. Obviously, yeah, you look at FanDuel, Otani's expensive, Joe Ryan, all that. You see Montgomery 7.8. You see Charlie Morton 7.7. Even Jacob Junis, he's 7.9 on FanDuel, where he's 6K on DraftKings. So another big price difference there. Are you going below Charlie Morton at all, Mangone? Talk about Morton and Montgomery. What are your thoughts on the lower range on FanDuel?
Yeah, before I go to that, I got to address DC. I was told that Big T's watching. And if Big T's watching, why are you putting 1 Jordan Montgomery? None of this sprinkle crap, DC. You either get overweight on him or you get none. So let's start there, DC.
I got 1 strike against me, 3 strikes that I got out at RPS. That's my first one. I don't know if I'll make it through the day if we're judging that harshly though.
Well, Mangone gets slaughtered for the robots and being in between. He's got to go after DC and find a new prey in the show. Yeah. Both get 1 strike.
With you, Mangone. Come on.
They'll both get 1 strike, Simon. If they get 3, you know how to kick one of them off.
We got Chris Rendon waiting in the wings to take our spot as well. So we got to be careful.
Yeah, we definitely got to be careful. And one more thing, you said the toughest sweat in DFS is the backup pitcher coming in. Well, I'll raise you the backup quarterback coming in, right? That's the tougher sweat, as some of the people do in the industry.
Oh, and they're in San Fran at Oakland. So I saw that wrong too. Again, I'm not at either park. I'm not worried about either. But thank you, K Fleet Burner. They are in San Fran at Oakland.
Yeah. And I see people talking about Blackburn, and I do worry about there's some Blackburn chatter, and I think DC's a Blackburn believer, and I think Blackburn's
kind of. It was more just I was on him one slate. I think he was pretty solid. It was more the nature of that slate. I don't think he's really a high upside pitcher in general, though.
Okay, yeah, my worry is like the matchup's really bad, right? Like that's just like a huge concern. So like,
I wouldn't do Blackburn today, honestly.
Yep, same here. I think the best cheap option though, Charlie Morton. That's the guy on FanDuel at 7.7K. I don't really want to go like much cheaper than that. Like I understand you could like make a Fetty happen. I just don't think this is the right spot to like go like cheaper than that.
I can't go below Morton. Like,
that's how I feel. Like, I don't think you should go below Morton. Like the other day, like, I loaded up FanDuel and I put Rodon in my lineup. And when I put Rodon in my lineup, I stacked up like two of the best teams and it was like easy to do. And I was like, this is just like too simple. Like if you want, like, you don't have to go down to the 6K range. Now, if you have like a hot take on like one of these pitchers and you think they're gonna be the best one of the night, go for it. But at the end of the day, you probably need the raw point pitcher on FanDuel. And like Charlie Morton at 7.7, he is going to be the cheapest I go over there. Joe Ryan's definitely my number one. That I'll be putting him in a lot. But if I do go cheap and I need to like jam in bats, Charlie Morton's the guy for sure on FanDuel.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like the one I think you brought him up really briefly, like Eric Fetty. If I was going to go anywhere below, he's 7.3K, gets the Marlins, but am I going to play him over Charlie Morton? I highly doubt that, but he was the only one that maybe you could make a case for. But I'm kind of on the same page with you, man, going, he's so cheap over there. You already like Joe Ryan and stuff. You only play one pitcher on FanDuel. So I think that definitely makes some sense. DC, give me your top four pitchers. We talked about it mainly. You like the upper range a lot more. If you have any more thoughts on Junis, if you looked into it, you can talk about those. So yeah, talk Junis, talk top four pitchers. Yeah,
I'm pretty interested in Junis now. A little bit, I think, of an oversight on my part coming into the show, but just briefly, I talked about the Giants acquiring him and how that can be a big boon, obviously, to certain pitchers. Like he comes from one of the worst organizations, Junis does, right? The Kansas City pitchers, like none of their guys, they're young guys that come up seem to work out. And in that first game, Junis, whose best pitch by far is his slider. He threw it 54% of the time, which you almost never see that. His fastballs suck, and he completely dished them. He threw almost all sliders and changeups, which is a very interesting combination that you almost never see. And then also his slider, which was his best pitch in previous years, the movement and spin rate's up a little bit. Movement is up a ton, a lot more horizontal break to it than he's had in the past. So the Giants have changed, it's one game, right? So you don't want to make too many conclusions, but if it holds true and these things stabilize pretty quickly and generally do hold true, they've changed his pitch mix significantly and then also changed his best pitch to likely be a lot more effective. Matchup couldn't be better. He was a former starting pitcher. So you look at the 61 pitches he threw, I believe it was, 61 pitches in that first game. But he got through 5 innings, right? And so Sam Long, I think, pitched the first inning of that game too. They bring in Junis. So then you're into the 7th inning. So he might have been able to go longer. They just maybe didn't need him to, right? Because he was getting toward the end of the game. They maybe had other guys that they wanted to use. I'm not sure, but he's interesting. I think I am in on some Jacob Junis. Matchup and park and everything looks great. He's likely improved. 6K. Yeah, he seems like a much better option than those guys around him. So he will obviously get you access to some of the bigger bats if you want to go in that direction. I like him quite a bit. That's a good call. Whoever brought that up.
Yeah, I like it for sure. So at your top 4 pitchers, is he going to make one of them?
He's in.
Obviously, point per dollar. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I'm cutting out Pablo Lopez. So Ohtani's still number 1. But yeah, I'll slide in Junis there, kind of mix him in with Morton and Ryan. I'll have I don't know, at least 30% Junis, something like that.
So now Montgomery out, no one lineup.
Montgomery gets the boot. Lopez gets the boot. Junis, welcome to the club.
Love it. Absolutely love it. There's the 4 pitcher. Hey, that's why we're here, DC. That's why very sharp members in chat. You see a comment like that, they bring up stuff and we overlook. I mean, we're looking at NBA, we're looking at MLB. There's a bunch going on. So stuff like that, you dive into it. I like the Junis call for sure. Mangone, top 4 pitchers on FanDuel. Who do you got?
Oh man, top 4 on FanDuel. Let's go with, Joe Ryan's definitely number 1. I'd say I'd probably put, I guess I'm going to put Ohtani. I'll put Pablo Lopez 2. I'll put Charlie Morton 3, and then I'll put Ohtani 4. I don't really want to play him, but on FanDuel, it's just like so much different over there. It's like, just need the raw point pitcher at time. And I understand he has upside, right? I think on DK, it's just a little bit different for sure. So that's kind of my reasoning for that.
Absolutely. That's pitching for us. 8 games on the slate. Some pretty good. I mean, some decent arms, some good prices. Again, it's not the Rodones, the Corbin Burns, and all that stuff for the worlds, but there's some solid pitching options. We narrowed it down. 4 pitchers, could sprinkle in a 5th or something like that. So like that for sure. Going to talk about stacks after we talk about members never win, though. We can't forget this segment. DFS Corp turned $33 into $7,000 in NBA. What an ROI. Congrats to you, DFS Corp. Cookie Monster, $10,000 in NBA. Eden Cohen, PGA Live final seat. Congrats to you. Our boy Tambo, $20,000 in PGA. Uncle Dunkle, not just a bets guy, $25,000 in MLB. And then Hoop with the $70,000 MLB win as well. He talked about that on Monday with Mangone on the Mangones and Friends show. So if you haven't seen that, check that out. Congrats to all of you. There's more winners than that. If you want to be in this segment, again, go to the Discord. You have to be a premium member. In the Discord, we have a members never win segment. Drop that screenshot. You have a chance to be on this segment. Congrats to all you winners. Hit that like button for us, please. Hit that subscribe button for us. I'll set a number pretty soon, but do us a favor. We want to give the plays of the day as always. Stacks, Mangone, I'm going to mix it up and go to you first. Your top 3 stacks of the day.
Yeah, so FanDuel stacks are definitely a little bit different than the DK ones because like it's a cut off, the slate's like cut off a little bit. So yeah, I'm going with man, I like Atlanta. I think they're definitely a good option to go to. Prices are kind of aggressive over there on some of the guys. I mean, Alex Dickerson, you get him for a little bit cheaper, but he's gonna be one of the that's gonna be one of the stacks that I'm definitely looking at. I think that the Blue Jay stack against Michael Wacha is just not good, right? So you can easily take advantage of some of those bigger bats over there, and they're easier to fit on a site like FanDuel. So I'll definitely be looking at them. And then I think a stack that's like a little off the board that you can go to. And I mean, if you look at a lot of these parks, right, there's just not a lot of good hitting environments in general. I would be curious if like that roof is open in Texas, that would get me a little more intrigued by the Astros. But an off the board one is, and I saw it in chat too, and I think there's good points brought up with that, is the Marlins offense, just because I don't have to do a 5-man stack of the Marlins on FanDuel, which is nice, only 4-man stacks. I get some pretty good price tags on FanDuel for these guys specifically, right? Aguilar, he's at 2.4K. Soler, he's at 2.7 on FanDuel. Those are some really good price tags. And now I'll pay for Jazz Chisholm at 4.1K. And then my last guy I can fill in like Avisel Garcia at 2.7 with a good price. I just like those price tags. And Fetty's not one of those good pitchers on the slate. Like Pineda's another guy that you can attack on the slate. I think looking at some of these like not cheap, I guess the lower end pitchers and trying to find one to target is not a bad approach on this slate. And Eric Fetty is a guy that can just throw meatballs across the plate, and the Marlins get a little bit of a ballpark upgrade playing against the Nationals.
Yeah, I brought up Fetty as a cheap, like the only cheaper guy on Morton that I would go to on FanDuel, but I don't like Fetty. I don't think he's a great pitcher. I also will say on a slate like this where teams don't just stand out to me, like on the page, I like taking road teams. I like the guaranteed 9th inning at bat. That's something the Marlins have as well. So yeah, I think that makes some sense. DC, top 3 stacks.
Hard not to go with the Braves, number 1, right? At home, good hitting environment. Mark Leiter Jr., not good. So Braves clearly number 1. I expect that to be reflected in ownership. I'd be frankly a little bit surprised if they don't come in as the highest on stack, but we'll see. I'll certainly have plenty of Braves myself. I'll go Angels number 2. I'm not a Zach Plesac believer. He's very hittable, and the Angels just have so much upside throughout that lineup. No lineup yet, but depending on whether it's Brandon Marsh or Joe Adell in there, both guys are great plays, of course. Oh, you can't play Ohtani though as a hitter, so I just briefly forgot about that. I don't know why you can't. We don't need to get into it, but it's just ridiculous. How long could it take to add him to the player pool as a hitter?
You make two different players. You put one as the hitter, you put one as the pitcher. Figure it out.
I barely know how to code. I feel like I could go send it to DraftKings one day.
So it's quick though. Does that change? Like you mentioned the Angels, so now you don't like them nearly as much because it can't play one of their best hitters.
Can't play with the second best guy on the team. But nobody else can either. So I don't know. But he's one of the main guys that you would want, right? Like he's one of the main reasons you would like the stack. You can't play him, but still you can play Angels if you want, with or without Ohtani. And then I'll go. I like the Marlins call, specifically the lefties against Eric Fetty, but I'll probably mostly stick to Chisholm and Jesus Sanchez. I think those guys are kind of by far the best plays, at least in my eyes, on the Marlins. So I'll probably mostly stick to them. But yeah, the Blue Jays, against Michael Wacha at home here should do some damage. So yeah, Braves and Blue Jays, my top two.
By the way, roof will be open, so I'm definitely gonna like Houston, especially on FanDuel. Like there's some good price tags on those guys. Like as we go through, I'll definitely talk about those prices.
The Yankees are solid too. Tyler Wells, who I actually like him a little bit as a pitcher, but he's gonna have home run issues for sure. His best pitch, he just pounds the zone up in the zone with the fastball, but when you miss with that pitch and leave it out over the plate to these Yankees, we kind of saw what they can do yesterday. So yeah, Yankees got to be on the list as well.
Yeah. And the winds are blowing out too. It's a little chilly there, but already a small park. They're both coming off. Orioles as well. They hit the ball pretty well yesterday too, but both coming off. The Yankees, they can get hot. They have big boppers in the lineup. So I think the Yankees have to be talked about for sure. That's the stacks though. We're going to go position by position right now. We got 364 watching, 137 likes. Mangone, throwing it to you. What you thinking?
Yeah, I saw someone suggest 400 likes in the chat. That's a little egregious. We have 362 watching, but I appreciate you shooting for the moon. We got 137. Let's get to 225. I'm feeling 225 today. More people will file in, and we want to give out those plays of the day. So let's do that.
Well, hopefully we can make it because yesterday we had to keep the plays from the people. Yeah, we didn't get to the 300. Hoop went real ambitious. We didn't get there. Hopefully 225, a more modest goal for the people.
I was going to say 225, man. I was going to say something like that too. So you guys definitely should get that. If y'all don't get 225 though, it's going to be 2 days in a row because 225, not getting that would be hurtful, but we want to give the plays of the day. Going to go position by position though. Going to start at the catcher position. Obviously we always talk about, you can throw whoever you are stacking in there. If you're not doing that, obviously we're talking Braves. You think they're going to be a little popular, DC. Travis d'Arnaud, only 3.3K. He's in the 5-hole. Outside of him, what you liking on this slate?
Yeah, d'Arnaud, really good option. Hoops guy, Zach Collins. I think he had another big game yesterday. No, maybe not. But anyway, Zach Collins hitting cleanup for the Blue Jays, I think is a really good option. Get the days mixed up there. Travis d'Arnaud, of course. I don't know why he's still 3,300. He's swinging a good bat. And we do see this with d'Arnaud from time to time over the years. It's like he'll be hot for a while, and then I think just like the wear and tear of being a catcher kind of gets to him, and he just can't hit. But when he's going good, he's a pretty good hitter. So d'Arnaud, number one, especially once you consider take into account the discount 3,300. I actually like both Texas eligible catchers, Jonah Heim and especially Mitch Garver. Christian Javier, pretty decent pitcher, but he throws a ton of fastballs. And I talk about this a lot with Garver. Garver, one of the best fastball hitters in the league. So I think he's got a pretty good chance to do damage against Christian Javier. But yeah, it gets pretty thin after that. I assume Travis d'Arnaud is going to be the most popular guy. I certainly think he should be. All the way down at the bottom, if you want to punt it with a Blue Jays guy on a stack we like, you could go with Tyler Heineman at 2K, maybe if you're playing two expensive pitchers, which I think a lot of people want to do. But yeah, bit of a thin position here for sure.
Yeah, I like the Astros a little bit. I played them yesterday. I think I'm going to go right back today. So I see Jason Castro back in the lineup. I kind of wish it was Martin Maldonado, but he's 2.4K. You're throwing him as part of a stack. So I think he's fine if you're taking a punt too. d'Arnaud is definitely going to be the most popular though. Mangone, you're going to talk FanDuel like you're going to keep doing. You don't have to play a catcher on FanDuel, but is there any catchers that stand out to you? If not, to talk about the first base position.
Yeah, actually, the catcher that we should talk about is like Jason Castro. Like, I think like you can get him just very low owned and like instantly just make your stack unique. And listen, when he just ends up with a 0, yeah, I mean it sucks, but you can cash with zeros in MLB. We know how that works.
You can ship with zeros. You not only cash, you can ship with zeros.
Yeah, and he's 2K, right? Like it's what he does for your lineup too. So you can make the argument. Yeah, Mitch Garver's 2-4 for just a little bit more. But if you're doing like a 4-man Astro stack, I don't think that's a bad way to go about it. So yeah, I think he's definitely in play for me as one of the catcher options on a site like FanDuel. You don't have to play a catcher on FanDuel. Obviously, you can play a first baseman. So yeah, you don't have to go there. But at first base, do like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Think he's going to be a really good spin up option. And if you are playing him or playing the Blue Jays, I would want him in my stack. You could go to a Zach Collins, I guess, in the 4-hole at 2.7 instead. I wouldn't tell you it's a bad idea, but definitely if I do Blue Jay stacks, I kind of want to jam Vlad Guerrero Jr. in there. Anthony Rizzo after the 3 home run game. Hey, if you want to just chase that in your Yankee stacks, I won't tell you it's a terrible idea.
Did you see those home runs, by the way? Like one was like a 48-degree launch angle, like just a Yankee Stadium porch pop-up.
That's why I love my parks. I love my parks because of that.
Yeah, I was actually needling our boy Dean on Twitter. Dean was saying it was like the weakest 3 home run game ever. And I said, counter argument, it's in the dead baseball era. It's actually very impressive. So I thought that was pretty funny that he barely hit home runs, but they went over. So that's all that matters. It doesn't.
If you're complaining about it, you didn't roster him like me. Because if you got him on your team, you don't give a shit how far they go. As long as they get over that wall, you get those 14 points. You're good with it.
And then Bo Bichette absolutely rockets one first at bat to the warning track, way harder than any of Rizzo's, and it's an out. That's baseball.
Title. Winners win, losers make excuses, man. Just get better.
Yeah.
I lost. I'm not making any excuses. My 1K went down the toilet in that tournament yesterday. That's fine though. Man going, but that is the tilted part of baseball. Absolute bomb to deep center in the warning track and a little half swing in Yankee Stadium. That's why I like my parks though. I like my parks for that reason. Man, go and talk. You're talking a little catcher. If you have any more catchers, talk about it. But I assume mainly you're going to be playing first base on FanDuel. That's what most people do.
Yeah, I mean, another spend up first baseman that you can go to on the Brave side is Matt Olson at 3.8K. I mean, a lot of people will just throw in Vlad because it's Vlad Guerrero Jr. And I think Matt Olson is definitely a very good play that you can go to as well. So I'll definitely be looking at him as an option. And then if you want to like really punt the position for a first baseman that has power, and I know DC said he likes more of those lefties, but hey, Jesus Aguilar has been pretty good. He hasn't hit a home run or anything like that, but consistency definitely has been there. And if you're playing a Marlin stack, I definitely don't mind him as like a cheap punt option. So there's definitely some decent first baseman. Seems like at the top is where you really want to spend your money at first base today. But if you aren't going to spend your money, going down to one of those catchers or one of those power guys seems like a good idea. So I'm either going all the way up or all the way down. Don't think I'm really going to that mid-tier too much over there on FanDuel.
Makes sense. DC, a lot of names up top. Matt Olson, Vlad, 2 guys you love to spend on. What you liking? Rizzo coming off the 3-homer game. What you liking up top? And then do you see any value at first?
I like all the guys up top, frankly. So I do think this is a position that you do want to spend up on if you can. Yeah, Vladimir Guerrero's number 1, but I mean, I have Olson too, not far behind Vlad, but then Rizzo, Jared Walsh, even Brandon Belt, you'll get super low owned. And if you're not playing Pablo Lopez in any given lineup, it might be a good idea to take a little power against him. Josh Bell swinging a really good bat this year. He's 4,500, so you do get a little discount there. But yeah, definitely a spend position for me. I don't really see a lot of cheaper guys that I want to play, or frankly, am even willing to play. Nate Lowe, 3,500, probably the lowest that I'd want to go on this slate. But it's a spend position for me. I think you can kind of, most of these guys, Vlad's on Toronto, Rizzo's on the Yankees, Olson's on Atlanta, Jared Walsh on the Angels. They're all in the best stacks too, right? So I think kind of each individual team, whatever you're stacking, I would try to include their big bopping first baseman that's in the middle of that lineup.
Yeah, that's how I usually approach first too. Such a good position, but yeah, it definitely makes sense there.
Sometimes you got to take the simple solution, right? And that certainly applies, I think, to first base today.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to second base, DC, I see Ozzy Albies up top. Jazz Chisholm was mentioned, I think, by Mangone. He's 5'3". He's definitely going to be contrarian, maybe more of a FanDuel. I'll see what he has to say there. Gleyber Torres for the Yankees, 3-4, I think is fine. What you liking at second?
You think Jazz Chisholm's contrarian?
Yes. He's 200. He's 200 more than Ozzy. He's going to be 2%, 3%.
Yeah, I mean, he's crushes right-handed pitching. Eric Fetty really struggles against lefties. He's home run prone.
Finally, he's batting leadoff. I know we talked about it earlier.
He's a baller, man.
He's 9.
Really fun player to watch. He does like the Euro step after.
Oh, I know. I love Jazz. I love Jazz for sure.
Yeah. One of the swaggiest baseball players for sure. But yeah, I like him. I actually thought it was really, really close, just straight up between him and Albies. So if you're right about the ownership
won't be as close. Yeah.
Then that's enough for me to for sure go with Jazz. So yeah, he'll be my guy. I'll have, of course, some exposure to Ozzy. If I'm stacking the Braves, I'm not going to leave Ozzy Albies off. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Jorge Polanco, I think, is fine. I like DJ LeMahieu a little bit here, mostly if you're stacking the Yankees leading off. I want some like decent. First, I need him to be in New York usually to play him, just because a lot of his power is the opposite way. He doesn't have the big pull power and Yankee Stadium's perfect for him. We've seen him, hit a big percentage of his home runs, I believe, have come at Yankee Stadium in his time with the Yankees. So, and then a fly ball prone pitcher as well in Tyler Wells. So yeah, DJ LeMahieu may be I guess not contrarian option, but another guy I would go to. But yeah, Jazz and Ozzy up top, clearly the class of the position today.
Obviously the prices are 1,200 difference, but you do like DJ over Glaber for the Yankees.
Yeah, I'm not a Gleyber Torres guy. I almost never play him. So, yep, definitely.
Mangone, second base on FanDuel. You were talking a little Jazz. There's Ozzy. What do you like in that second?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not huge on Gleyber Torres either, DC, but on FanDuel, he is very cheap. Well, you have to call it out, right? He's 2-3. So what he can do for your lineup, and he's also shortstop eligible. It's definitely in play. But I feel like I'm going to live above the 3K range, mainly on FanDuel. Some of the guys that I'm definitely going to be looking at, Jorge Polanco at 3-1 against Pineda. I think he's in play. DJ LeMahieu at 3-2, another interesting option. But against Ross Stripling, Trevor Story, definitely a guy that you can go to that can hit one out. Boston hasn't been amazing this year, but Trevor Story has been pretty good. So I think that Trevor Story is someone that's grading out pretty well against Stripling and can hit one out. So I like him. And then at the top, if you want to go all the way up, I think more people will be on Ozzy Albies, similar to DraftKings. They're both 4.1K. Jazz at the top, 4-1. Definitely going to be a nice pivot off of an Ozzy Albies if you want. Those are two really good options at the top that I'm considering. So for me, I don't think I'm going to be going to Gleyber Torres that much for cheap. I understand if you want to. I won't tell you it's a bad idea. I see myself just going into that mid-tier with those three options I mentioned, or going up to the top to either Jazz or Albies.
I like it. DC, going to go to you for third base. Austin Riley, 4.1K. The Braves are just mispriced. Like, Darno should not be 3-3. Riley should not be 4-1. Outside of him, though, Josh Donaldson for the Yankees, 4-5. What you like at third?
Yeah, I've got Rafael Devers number 1, 4,800 back in the lineup. Ross Stripling, just kind of an average pitcher, right? You don't need to nothing special about him. Devers obviously can hit him just fine. So he's my number 1. I have Riley 2. I'll take obviously you can play him at second base too, but I'll take DJ LeMahieu over Donaldson right now. Donaldson really struggling. Kind of want to see something from him before I start playing him. Cheaper guys, I don't love the Twins that much just because of the cold weather. Mostly, it's just going to be tough to do a lot of damage. But Luis Arraez off to a good start this year, hitting second, 3,400. I think he is fine. Maybe pair him with a Buxton up top. But yeah, I think Riley, Devers, and then DJ LeMahieu, rather. Those three are the three I'm focused on.
Which, where are you more likely to play DJ? Second, third, or it really all depends on lineup construction? After we talk about
for sure at third, because I want Jazz or Ozzy way more than Devers and Riley. So yeah,
love it. Mangone, what you got? Third base.
Yeah, third base is not bad. I think second base is better, but at the top, if I pay up, like Austin Riley is probably my guy. I wouldn't hate Devers. I think it's fine, but I prefer Riley if I had to pick one guy at the top over on FanDuel. In the mid-tier, Taylor Ward's a guy that I know he's been hitting pretty well. He had that double home run game, helped Dunkel out. Like, if you go him at 3K in your Angel stack, I don't think that's a bad idea if he's in that one hole. DJ LeMahieu, I talked about at second base. Same applies at third base. Think he's a good option. Josh Donaldson, if you're playing Yankee stacks at 3K, definitely someone that you can go to. For cheap at second base, third base, it gets a little rough, though. There's not a lot that I love down here. If I do an Astro stack, like Diaz, you can put at second, shortstop, or third base, and he helps save a lot of salary at 2.1K. I believe he's in the lineup. Let me just double check and make sure he's in there today.
He's batting fifth.
Yeah, he's in the 5 hole, which is nice. So as a salary saver in my Astro stacks, I'm pretty content on maybe getting some exposure to him there at that 2.1K tag. So yeah, I think he's definitely in play. And I didn't mention Alex Bregman. Obviously, no Kyle Tucker in the lineup is kind of frustrating for the Astros, but Alex Bregman is a guy that people, whenever they see a lefty, they like playing him more. Third base doesn't feel amazing to me today, where maybe I just plug him in if I don't go dirt cheap to a guy like Diaz. Maybe I plug in Bregman at 3-5 in my Astro stacks, or even as like a one-off, just because I want to have like a power bat still at the third base position. And at 3-5, I don't know, maybe Bregman gets a little overlooked here. So I like him a lot.
DC, I got to ask you before we go to the next position, because I overlooked him. Who's this JJ? I'm just going to call him JJ on the Astros. I think you know who I'm talking about. He's in the 6 hole today. He's min price at 2K. If you don't know, it's JJ Matijevic. Obviously, I pronounced that completely wrong. but he's in a 6-hole, min price at 2K.
I don't know who that is. I'll be honest.
Right.
I'll look him up though. See what we can find on him.
Yeah, there's a lot of players in baseball, but I completely missed that. And he's first base and outfield eligible, so pretty interesting for on DraftKings. What do you know what he is on FanDuel? Let me check, man. Going.
Yeah, he's second base, and I know he's outfield, and he's 2K flat.
Outfield 2K flat. Cool. Yeah, we'll get to him in the outfield, DC. I'll go to Mango and talk short. When we get to the outfield, though, when you're looking him up, you can talk about him a little bit.
Yeah.
Before we go to shortstop, though, 355 watching, 199 likes. We need 25 more likes, man. Going said 225. It shouldn't be very hard. Going shortstop, we're going outfield. You guys are gonna get the likes for us. I appreciate it in advance. Man, going shortstop, what you got for us?
Yeah, shortstop. So at the top, there's definitely some options that I like. Jazz is at the top. You can obviously go him. We talked about him already. Bo Bichette at 3-2 in the mid tier. Definitely a pretty good option. Like, it's a really cheap price tag against Michael Wacha. So I think Bo Bichette is definitely in play. We talked about Polanco already. Pretty good option. But if you want to do, like, I don't think you're going to be doing a what's it called? A Texas stack day. It doesn't feel like something that people will be doing. But if you want to go Corey Seager at that price tag of 2.8 on FanDuel as a one-off at a 4.31, I think it's a great idea, especially at the shortstop position. That's really good power and pop. He gets to go up against Javier. I'm also not scared of the Houston bullpen if they come in. So I think this is a pretty good spot to roster a 2.8K Corey Seager. Bo Bichette and him are just scream like great cash game options today. So those are two guys I would look at. And hey, on FanDuel, maybe you put both of them in your lineups in cash games or even in tournaments and just take that really nice salary saver for 2.8 and 3.2 and just have some really nice power for those price tags. I have no disagreements in doing that.
Well, you're going to like him even more, and I'm a little disappointed, man, going. What is today? It's Corey Seager's birthday, man, going. It's a little birthday narrative. You only look at those in the NBA streets. Is that what's going on or what?
I do always look in the NBA, but I mean, there's a lot of sports going on. I'll say that once we get like MLB as the focus, then I think birthday narratives will come back into play more for me. But
I like myself a good narrative, a good birthday narrative, but I have a hard time accepting the fact that your birthday, like, it makes you a better hitter, you know, like you're trying your best. Like, basketball makes sense. You can just choose to shoot more. You could be like, I'm putting up 25 shots today. Like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna get up to the plate and focus more because it's your birthday or something?
Do you feel
harder?
Better? No. Don't you feel better on your birthday, DC? Like, you walk with a little more swag?
No, I'm usually hungover as shit on my birthday. I never feel good on my birthday.
Hey, keep going, DC. I want to lock Corey Seager. I want that guaranteed home run. So I need you to keep talking a little.
No, I like Corey Seager, but
yeah,
not because it's his birthday.
No, I agree. We the people said it. Mangone, he tagged Mangone too obvious, or he didn't tag.
Hey, we got an hour to fill, so we got to bring up some nonsense once in a while.
Yeah, but no, I think that is a good point though. I'm not a narrative person, but in NBA you can choose to shoot the ball. You're going to have the ball in your hand plenty. You can choose to shoot it. Baseball, you're only going to get your 4 at bats more than likely. Yeah. what changes from day to day, but had to bring up the narrative. Do you think that's a good point though, for sure? DC shortstop. Talk shortstop.
Yeah. Top end looks good. Seager, Bichette, top 2 options. I do like Brandon Crawford as a pivot from those two. Again, Blackburn, a decent pitcher, but nothing that you need to be scared of by any means. So yeah, Crawford is the pivot from those two guys, but obviously a little bit lower projection than both Seager and Bichette. Kind of another position where the cheap guys don't look super great. My favorite cheap option is Dansby Swanson, starting to finally hit a little bit. He had a really, really slow start to the season, and hitting 9th, which you don't like, but he is 2,700. He is, historically a pretty solid hitter and what I think is the best stack of the night. So Dansby Swanson, a pretty good way to go. Kind of we kind of see this a lot of thin positions, I guess, product of maybe just 8 games. But I think you want to spend here too if you can.
Well, and also when only one total is at 9 and everything else is below. Even when you see a big name, like, they have a 4.2 implied total, it's hard to get very excited. That's where we're at in baseball now. When we're coming back in July and we're on these shows and it's 90 degrees across the country, the totals are definitely going to be a lot higher and we're going to feel better. The whole industry is going to feel better about certain hitters, whereas pitching goes the opposite way a little bit. But I agree with you on shortstop. DC, before we get in the outfield, K. Alex said, referring to JJ, that's what I'm pronouncing him as, the 2K punts on both sides. He had a good start to the season in the minors. Very mediocre player. Fringe major league player, K. Falix said. Anything you found, DC, you want to talk about quick?
Yeah, well, I think he's mostly a fringe major leaguer. It looks like to me, because he doesn't really have a defensive position, right? And it's just teams can only have one DH.
We don't care about defense.
No, exactly. So last year in the minors, in 110 games, hit 25 home runs, and then he was like one of the very best hitters in the minors through 11 games, 4 home runs and 4 steals. So he was
little speed. I like that. A little power speed combo. I like the speed.
I don't think he's a huge base stealer, but anyway, he was so far and crushing it. Obviously not sure about the pinch hit risk, but he's minimum price. You can play him at first base or outfield. He's in a good stack. And listen, he's hitting 6 for a reason, right? The Astros, I mean, Dusty Baker might not know, but the front office knows. And they must think this kid has a chance to produce. So, yeah, I'm in on him for sure, especially because as we go through these positions, a lot of them, second base, shortstop, third base, you want to spend. There's not that many good cheap options. So he for sure looks like a good guy to kind of pull that lineup together, especially on a day where, I think most people kind of want to spend on pitching as well.
Yeah, definitely like that. He's 2K on a team.
I'm in for sure. Yep.
That I have a little interest in the 6 hole. So I think he makes total sense. And I'm glad we did talk about him because he is important. And Mangone, Jay in chat said, come on, Mangone, got to have the birthday page up. Wendell and Judge hit home runs yesterday on their birthday, Mangone. So get that birthday page up for the future, Mangone. That's what the people rely on you for. We appreciate it, though, we the people. Let's check the likes before we go outfield. 216 likes, 384 watching. We'll easily get 225 by the time these two are done talking outfield. Then we'll get in the plays of the day. We appreciate it. Hit that like, hit that subscribe for us. Mangone, I'm going to go to you first talking outfield. Give me a couple up top. Give me a couple mid-range. Give me a couple value. And this is FanDuel for everyone.
Yeah, I do want to talk about JJ, the guy you guys just mentioned, because title, I'll say this. I just did some quick research. Parents were at the first game that he got called up to, so I'm sure they'll be at the first game he's playing at. Also, his dad is a firefighter, so if you don't play him in your lineups, you don't support firefighters. So imagine being that kind of person. So I'll definitely be getting into my lineups for sure. I think he's definitely a good play in the outfield. That'll be a value play that I have some exposure to. At the top, of course, you can always make arguments for like Mike Trout and all these really good hitters. If you like those Angel stack, I'll definitely be making sure to get him in my lineups. If you are playing the Yankee stack, 3-6 is really good for Aaron Judge, and in cash games too. Like that's a really nice one. I think you can go to. One of my favorite outfielders, Glenn Otto, is really bad against lefties, like terrible. And that's one. JJ, he's a lefty. So is Yordan Alvarez. Yordan Alvarez is probably my favorite outfielder of the day. He's at 3.2K on FanDuel. That's just dirt cheap. So I'm definitely getting exposure to him. Guys that are a little higher up that I think are interesting. Like if we're going to attack Michael Wacha, George Springer is definitely a good way to do it. George Springer is great at those leadoff home runs. Wouldn't be shocked if we saw a leadoff home run from George Springer tonight to kick the Toronto stack off pretty well. We talked about the Braves stack a little bit. Marcell Ozuna is only 3K over on FanDuel. Pretty good price tag. Another guy that's, a power hitter that's just way too cheap. Giancarlo Stanton. I mean, 2.9 on FanDuel is a pretty good price tag. Now, we know Giancarlo Stanton can be a frustrating roster at times, but I think he's definitely in play. If you are playing that Yankee stack, I wouldn't be excluding him from my stack or anything. Michael Brantley at 2.7. If you are playing the old Astro stack, you can always mix him in there, but you can get frustrated because his power and pop is not that great. A couple other guys at that same range, if you want to make a pivot off of a Brantley instead, a Jorge Soler, who actually has some power and pop against Fetty, or an Avisel Garcia. I think those guys are definitely in play there that you can go to. And then if you are playing that Yankee stack, he is a frustrating roster. He's either going to get you first or last. It's Joey Gallo at 2.4, an intriguing option. If you want a safer play at 2.2 in that Astros lineup, Chas McCormick, who's hitting in the 1 hole, definitely someone that you can put into your lineups. That'll definitely be a good option overall. And he's going to maybe get like 5 at bats, right? Because he's the 1 hitter. You get 9 innings. It's an outdoor game. So I think he's a pretty good option for a salary saver.
Yep, that's a great breakdown in the outfield. The likes are getting hurtful. Only 7 more we need. They hardly went up since I said it last. When DC's done talking, I'll see what the likes are at, and we'll give the plays of the day. We're going to get out of here. So hit that like button quick. DC's giving his outfield. Give me some in the upper range. Give me some in the mid range. Give me some value, DC.
The people are lucky that I love the sound of my own voice. So I can talk for a while they all hit the like button and
that's not what I heard yesterday.
we can't go 2 days in a row without giving the plays of the day. It's just not cool. I'll filibuster for the people here. Up top, Alvarez. I like that call, Mangone. He's hitting some bad luck. Well, not that he's been terrible. He's got 4 home runs, but he looks really locked in. The results should be even better than they've been. So yeah, Jordan Alvarez, I think you can make a strong case for him as maybe the top overall hitter on the slate. Byron Buxton, as long as he is healthy and generally performing like he is, which I think he will if he's healthy, he's going to be in my lineups every night. Michael Pineda, a little bit of cold weather in Minnesota, not going to scare me off that with how much power he has. We've obviously got Mike Trout, Taylor Ward. Unfortunately, no Shohei Ohtani, but I do like those Angels guys. In the mid-range, like it is for a lot of the positions, is a little bit barren, but there is a pocket of players in that mid 3K range that I do really like. Nelson Cruz, again, you don't love the matchup, but 3,700 for Nelson Cruz, willing to pay that. You'll get him at, I assume, very low ownership as well. My favorite play in this range, though, is Jesus Sanchez for Miami. Big power. I love playing lefties against Eric Fetty. Terrible Nationals bullpen. Sanchez, I think, is, I don't know, $1,500 underpriced at 3,600. So I really like him. Ozuna is there. And then Alex Verdugo hitting second for Boston. We didn't really talk all that much about Boston, but that middle of the order, I really like. The back half of that lineup is awful, but the middle guys, right? Bogarts, Devers, Verdugo, they're going to keep producing. So Verdugo, a really good option there. Cheaper guys, the Astros 2K guy, JJ, I think is a really good option, first base or outfield. And really when you get to cheap outfielders, especially with the way baseball's playing right now, where batting averages are historically low, you're so unlikely to get like 2 or 3 hits out of any of these cheap guys. So I want power when I'm going to a cheap outfielder. A couple guys that have it down here. Adam Duvall for the Braves, 2,500 in a good matchup, hitting 7th. And then also hitting 7th, Trevor Larnach for the Minnesota Twins. Big boy power from the left side against Michael Pineda, who has been home run prone. So a few cheap options down there as well.
I like it. And we just got a little for the Astros. Siri is out of the lineup, who was in the 9-hole, and in goes our boy, a little Kyle Tucker action. We like lefties against Otto. We're talking. He's hitting in the what? He's hitting in the 5-hole. They're going McCormick, Brentley, Bregman, Alvarez, Tucker, Diaz, JJ, Pena, Castro. So that lineup gets even better. Any of you two have any thoughts on that quick? When you're thinking about that, let me read off this Angels lineup we just got quick, because there is some interest from us both. Ward, Ohtani, Trout, Walsh, Rendon, Marsh, Mayfield, Stassi, Wade. So nothing that I wasn't really expecting. Any thoughts on Kyle Tucker now in for Siri? Just another bump to the lineup a little bit.
Yeah, slow start for Kyle Tucker, but he'll get it going soon. He's a really good play against Glenn Otto. And I think you get a discount on Kyle Tucker because of the early season struggles, 4,200. So he becomes a really, really strong play for sure. Can go with that full Houston outfield if you want, right? All three lefties there against Glenn Otto. I think that could be a good option. Who was the other guy you mentioned?
For Houston?
Yeah,
I said Siri was out. Tucker's in for him. Then I mentioned the Angels lineup. Nothing really.
Yeah. Brandon Marsh deserves to be mentioned as well. 4K. He's got a lot of power against Plesac. I do like the Angels quite a bit.
That's Hoop's kid's favorite player too, because he went to watch the Detroit Angels game. They absolutely blew out the ones. They were playing the Angels, and Marsh, I think he had a home run or something. He had a nice game, and now he Hoop's kid, so that's his favorite player. So I always love a little good mojo.
So we got the full narrative street lineup. We got Brandon Marsh as the Hoops kid play of the day. We got Corey Seager's birthday. And what was the other one? Oh yeah, JJ. He's got his parents in the stands, so he's going to go yard as well.
And his dad's a firefighter. You hate firemen. How could I forget?
Yeah, how could you forget, man? If you don't play him, you hate firefighters. All right, that's I mean, Tucker in the line, and maybe people just don't. I mean, it's baseball. Some people might have their lineups locked right now. If they thought their starting lineups were already in their stacks. Maybe people just don't look and see that the Houston Astros did change and Tucker goes a little overlooked.
Yeah, I don't know how much less than he'll be because of it, but it's definitely less than he would have been, right? If
and maybe he's going to be 5% and it was going to be, obviously 0, but maybe it's 3% or something. It's baseball, but
it's lower than it would be for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, we're absolutely got the likes. 251. The people answered when we asked. So we appreciate that for sure. Yes, Timothy Lee, we did talk about stacks. We go pitching and then stacks in the beginning. So rewind the show, put it on 1.5x. When Mangone talks, you put it back down to 1, back and forth. Can be a little annoying, but you'll figure it out. Stacks are talked about up top. Hit the like button though. We appreciate it. If you're not a member, head over on Pure Sports. RPS Heater 25 gets you 25% off. We're going to the plays of the day though. Mangone, I'm starting with you for the Sweet Travis play of the day. Who you got for us?
Yeah, I'm going to go with, let's go with Yordan Alvarez. I think I'm loading up on the Astros. I get it. Yeah, he's not going to be like a 2% owned guy on the slate over on FanDuel at 3.2K, but I'm jamming in my lineups. Astros are my favorite stack. I've sold myself as the show has gone on. I'm loading up on the Astros. Glenn Otto, we're taking him out. So he will not be automatic tonight. We're going with the Astros stack, and I'm going with Yordan Alvarez to bang one out.
All right, well, the SO play of the day is going to mini stack that with you then. I talk Kyle Tucker. I see he's in the lineup now. I like the Astros too. I went to him yesterday. You go Yordan. Give me the lefty next to him in the stack. Kyle Tucker, Yordan Alvarez. Give me the play of the day. So they go back-to-back, Mangone. We had it last year once. Let's do it again today. DC, I don't think it's going to be an Astro. If it is, JJ, that'd be fine with me. A little 4, 5, 6. But who do you got for the Mom's Basement play of the day?
Well, I gotta complete the Astros outfield stack. So JJ is going in there as one of them. But my original one was going to be Jesus Sanchez for Miami. Going to take Eric Fetty deep. I think Sanchez is going to be a stud. Hit a lot of home runs this year. Really, really like the matchup for him against Fetty. And I got to give a pitcher because and I got to give the hat tip. I'm too much of a boomer to have YouTube chat up during the show. But whoever it was that suggested Mr. Jacob Junis, I'm in. I'm officially in on Jacob Junis today. I'm seeing over at our friend SaberSim projected for 2% ownership on Jacob Junis. I like what I've seen and the changes, while looking it up while we're on air here. I'll dig in a little bit more, but we'll be surprised if I find anything to move me off of Jacob Junis. So if you play him and he doesn't come into the game as a reliever, don't shoot the messenger, but I do like his chances of success against Oakland at home. Low ownership, cheap price tag. And listen, most of the positions are positions that we do want to pay up at for bats. So I think it makes a lot of sense at 6K.
Man, I was digging through all the comments to try and give the right shout out to the person that said Junis, but Sean Hunter said is long opening for Junis. So hey, he brought up Junis. Then we the people said I love Junis here. So Sean Hunter, we the people, they brought up the Junis name. We get to a discussion, we come full circle. There's the hat. I was waiting. You said you were going to do it. I was actually waiting for you to do it, but we got it from DC. I appreciate that. That's all 8 games, pitching, hitting, stacks, you name it. We covered it. Head to Run Pure Sports. If you want to be a member, make sure you get in the Discord. That's my favorite part. Members, coordinators, always talking all the sports. Head over Run Pure Sports, one price, RPS Heater 25, gets you 25% off your first week or your first month. One price, all the sports. There's no better time. Little NBA playoffs action tonight. Hopefully the Bucks close that one out, even though Mangone wants it to keep going. DC, I hope I hope they lose, but I hope for your sake that
we want them to win. Title. They can win in game 7. The show goes on. We want DFS. We don't want 2 gamers. We don't want Showdown. We want 3-game slates. Also,
you got to pick one way that you can't hope they win for me.
I know. I was trying to be nice, and I was like, I really don't want them to win. I don't really care.
It's okay. You can cheer against symbols.
So then I stopped what I was saying because I wasn't going to cheer for him regardless. So you are right. You are right.
Title. You gained a strike. Big T is watching you waffle. So that's a strike on you.
Yes. Well, my strike was by far the worst. Your strike was by far the worst, man. You were on both sides of something you cannot be both sides on. So we're going to close it out.
Imagine riding the fence on robot umpires.
Title. Let me close it out with this. Let me close it out with this. Tomorrow we have an MLB show on the morning show. So DC, you'll be with me. It's like a main slate. So I don't know if I told DC, but DC, we're hanging out, and we'll be giving out strikes the way we want on that show. Okay, I'll be the bus driver. You'll be the rider. We're gonna bring some winners on that show tomorrow. So be there at 11 a.m.
Winners tomorrow, man. Going with friends. DC, go ahead. Were you saying something?
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say I'll be there. I'll be there on the show.
Yeah. DC, Mangone, talking some early baseball, Mangone and friends, 11 a.m. Eastern. Check that out. Was a fun show. Someone in chat, Sylvester Payne, is Tucker playing? I don't know if you just got here 2 minutes ago. If so, that's all right. Tucker is in the lineup now. He wasn't originally, but that's going to do it for us. Make sure you check the Mangone and friends DC talk So early baseball tomorrow, I will be tuning in. Head over on Pure Sports, check it out. The guys are going to be talking a little NBA hoops today, I believe, on the premium show. So get in Discord, check that out. That's going to do it for us, though. For Mangone, BC, signing behind the sticks. I'm Titletown. Good luck, everybody.